Ashmore Estates.
It's just very heavy. I almost have like a nauseous feeling.
Steady here, look at the screen's almost filling up.
I just heard a female voice. Can you say something else? Did someone just touch my arm? I did? It said I did.
Thank you and welcome you to the Ashmore Estates Circus Sanatorium.
Coles County, Illinois, home to some of the richest history and mysteries in the state. Burials like Thomas Lincoln, the castle-like structure of Eastern Illinois University, with haunting tales of Pemberton Hall, legends of the Mad Gasser of Mattoon, UFO sightings, bizarre unsolved murders, with saturated hauntings throughout the county. However, the most iconic haunted location of Coles County resides in isolation near the small village of Ashmore, Illinois. Ashmore Estates. In 1857, the original Coles County almshouse sat on this land, offered a home to the poor, orphans, and outcasts of society, along with the mentally ill, in exchange for work on the surrounding land.
The poor farm, the original poor farm, had some damage done to it. It was built sometime in the 1800s, and around 1880 or so, it had some damage done by a fire, and it burnt. It's pretty extensive, but it didn't burn to the ground or anything. Well, at that time, the county didn't want to put money into a location, into a building, and so they pretty much just left it.
By the late 1800s, tragedy struck as a 4-year-old girl named Elvis Skinner burned to death in an upstairs room of the fire-prone building. A visit from the board committee proved the building unsafe and fit for condemning, as conditions were deteriorating, neglecting provisions for the insane. Agreeing to shut down the almshouse, the new buildings were raised in 1916, operating again as a poor farm.
It was built basically as a fireproof building because of the situation that was encountered.
Less than a year later, Ashmore Estates would narrowly escape a deadly tornado ripping through nearby Charleston and Mattoon, as it killed over 200 people and destroyed everything in its path. It was noted many were sent from Ashmore to aid in searching for the victims.
They had about 20 buildings out here on the property because it was an active farm. There was almost 300 acres out here, and they had livestock, full fields with all kinds of corn, beans, whatever they were. They were fixing their own food out here. They were growing their own. They raised their own livestock. They had a smoker's a place out back where they could smoke meat, and they had chickens and hogs and everything. I mean, it was an active farm. It was a full farm. The sad thing in this building is that you could have had anything from a 4-year-old to a rapist in this same building living together. So it was set out where it was set in a place where people that had money didn't want to deal with these people that didn't have money. So they put them out in the middle of nowhere and just let them sit out here. Joe Bloxam was a gentleman that was he was kind of like the groundskeeper, the caretaker of the building here. Joe had a mental disorder, and they thought that maybe by giving him duties or giving him something to do would possibly make him feel more at home and might help him out mentally. He had basically set up in the boiler room, had his equipment down there and all. I think it was Kansas, Illinois. He was coming back from Kansas, Illinois one day, and he got hit by a train. Somebody picked Joe up and dropped him off here at the poor farm, and Joe ended up passing away here in the building.
Ashmore Estates would continue aiding the homeless and mentally ill until 1959, when it became a private psychiatric facility. The establishment would take in the overflow from Illinois state hospitals, with patients' diagnosis ranging from epilepsy to psychosis. Your standard psychiatric treatments for the times were conducted at Ashmore Estates, including electroshock therapy.
And it was only a matter of time before electricity was exploited. The otherwise lethal effect of electricity could be turned to therapeutic advantage if the current was passed across the head so that the heart was not affected.
There was a lot of treatment going on here, and I think there was probably a lot of treatment that was probably experimental. I do know that they did electroshock therapy treatment on the 3rd floor. In fact, I've had a couple ladies that graduated from Eastern, I think like in 1963 or 4, that came over here one day and they walked through the building and told me what different rooms were for. And they told me that was the electroshock therapy treatment room, because it was kind of scary when people went in there because they had no idea what was going to happen once they came out.
Stories of unruly patients described as being possessed, breaking restraints and attacking staff, with former employees detailing a nurse who was severely beaten by an inmate on the 3rd floor. Though many enjoyed the building, it held a very tragic side, as many were simply left and forgotten. Into the 70s, the building saw a revitalized, positive family-type atmosphere, as some would describe as the golden years. Though moving into the 80s, Ashmore Estates would begin its demise. By October 1985, health code violations were piling up, citing neglect and abuse of the residents. Events such as a staff member phoning a resident, pretending to be a deceased member of their family, bizarre accounts of striptease sessions in the activity room, alleged rape of patients, alongside rotting food being served. With the ongoing financial strain, it didn't take long for the county to shut down the facility as word got out of the over 50 violations. As the doors closed for good in 1986, a long run of history with Ashmore Estates came to an end. Vandals began to break into the abandoned facility, looking for a place to party and seek out lore of hauntings, as the old dark building stood against the prairie wind. With most abandoned places suspected of being haunted, those finding their way into the building were attempting contact with Ouija board and seances. Local rumors of occultic and satanic rituals circulated at a time when unsolved murders were rocking the area, such as the infamous case of Airtight Bridge, where a dismembered body was found in the river.
Today, a female's mutilated body was found at Airtight Bridge in Coles County.
What Cox found was a nude woman's body missing her head, feet, and hands. Without these body parts, the Coles County Sheriff's Department had no idea who the woman was, and more importantly, who had left her there.
Cult-like behavior came into question, as so many hidden places in the countryside would be ideal for such activity. Ashmore Estates stuck out as a beacon for Coles County, with a long history and now abandonment offering the perfect backdrop for mischief. Vandals took their toll on Ashmore Estates. All windows were broken out with graffiti on every part of the building, scaring away potential investors as the building continued its abandoned persona. Adding to the pain, on Halloween night in 1995, an outbuilding used for patients went up in flames. Ashmore Estates wouldn't see any resolve until Scott Kelley purchased the property in 2006 and began transforming it into a haunted attraction.
Hey, we got an emergency here at Ashmore Estates. Come see us, Fridays and Saturdays in October.
From 2006 to 2012, Scott ran a successful haunted house here, hosted events, and allowed paranormal enthusiasts to stay in overnight. Though as fate would have it, powerful severe storms ravaged central Illinois January 2013. As a tornado and straight-line winds heavily damaged the roof and upper floors. This would force Kelley to reluctantly sell the building, turning it over to its current owner, Robbin Terry, who's steadily writing a new chapter for Ashmore Estates.
There was something about the building that when I walked down the second floor, on the second floor of the building, it's just, there was something there just reaching out, and I'm not sensitive at all. I'm about as sensitive as a rock. But there was something there that said, help our building. The spirits, I think, in the building at that time, they weren't worried about themselves. They were perfectly content to be here, but they wanted their building helped. And I think it was a little bit, I don't want to say dark, but I think it was depressed, more so than dark. It was the depressed feeling that these people had because there was no windows in this building. There was one window in the entire building. It was something that most people probably would have walked in and said, there's no way. But I saw something more than just, an old building. I saw that this could be fixed up, it could be saved. We started renovating things as much as we could. We put a roof on it. We had the roof on there by June. Just about a month later, we had a roof on there. And we had electrical hooked up in May, got that done in May, and started adding the electrical all the time with that. And by October, we had all the windows in the building. There was about 83 openings that had to be fixed in this building. It's just a historical building that should be saved as long as we can. There's been a lot of people investigate the building. I think one of the biggest things that we've had, and numerous people see the same thing, is shadow figures. I've got a friend of mine who's been here 7 to 8 different times, and she's seen shadow figures almost every time she comes here. We've had some teams that have mentioned about a little boy in the building that they've seen too. I've not seen the little boy myself, and I haven't seen any clear images from anyone that's seen him, but we've had numerous people that tell me that they've talked to a little boy as well. Right at the end of this hallway, right down here, we had a girl that came in, and she was mentally challenged female, about 30 years of age, came from Chicago area, and she was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She walked in the room, walked into the building, and the first thing she did is she ran back outside and grabbed the 4x4 post underneath the awning outside, and she said, I can't do this, I can't do this. I'm like, and I walked out and talked to her. I said, what can't you do? She's like, I can't go in there. I'm like, why can't you go in there? She's like, because there's a little girl standing at the end of the hallway, and she wants me to play with her, and I don't want to play with her because I know she's not there. There was one girl, Elva Skinner, that was not an occupant of this building. She was in the original building. We still think Elva's here today. There was a 7-year-old that used to live down the street that told her mom that her friend from Ashmore would come down and visit her, and they would sing songs together. Her mom would get up in the middle of the night and walk into the room, and she was in there singing, sitting on her bed singing, and she's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm singing with my friend from Ashmore. We've had other people, I've had mediums actually tell me that the little girl stands in the hallway, and I trust most of the mediums that I know, but to have this girl from Chicago come down and tell me the same thing that the mediums have told me, it was just, incredible that that's happened as well. We've had a few people that told me they got scratched, which, scratches to me are kind of like, you might have done it yourself and didn't realize it, or it could be somebody just trying to get your attention. We've kind of nicknamed it, some call it home, and I think that's what it is. It's a home for a lot of these people that are still here today.
Are these spirits truly benign souls from the past, still attached to their former home? Perhaps some are stuck looking for resolve in eternity, or ritual conjured spirits from the years of abandonment still lingering. During filming of this episode, the acting crew and I had uneasy feelings, sounds of doors closing, various bangs around us, and other strange anomalies.
There was a puff of smoke that just came right up here, and there was nobody there. It looked like somebody hit a vape pen and it just went up to the ceiling.
I will soon find out what, if anything, lurks at Ashmore Estates, as I'm locked inside, overnight, alone.
So I'm out here on some back roads looking for the original poor farm. This is where they would have brought the inmates from the original building, mid to late 1800s, and some from the new building. Basically have to pull along the side of the road and walk into the wooded area. Hopefully we'll be able to find it. So I'm out here in the woods. Basically I got to go off into that way, that area. But I'm going through weeds that are extremely tall, trying to find this graveyard. Gotta jump this creek. The reason why I'm doing this, I just feel like I need to pay my respects. It's not gonna be easy to find this place. This graveyard is completely abandoned, completely off the grid, forgotten. Man, I hope it's not over there. I don't want to have to get by them. I wonder what the hell I'm doing out here. I'm just tracking around in 5-foot tall weeds looking for 100-plus-year-old burial ground. You know, the norm. There is an old fence right here. I wonder if this is it. Let's see if I can find a headstone. Just hope I don't trip over one. Yep, this is it. Let's see what this is. Looks like 1819, 1893. Found some more. Thomas Murphy. Now, according to the records, there's over 100 burials in this spot, and there's no way I'm going to be able to find them all. A lot of them probably don't even have headstones anymore. I'm literally searching within 3 to 5 foot tall weeds, trying to locate these graves. If anybody's in here right now, which I would hope not, but if there is some guardian spirit here, if there is a restless soul still attached to your body, just know I come here with great respect. I'm working on a film at Ashmore Estates. I just come here to pay my respects, pay tribute. Let's see a name on this one. A lot of these stones appear to be either unmarked or just erosion has taken place and washed away the names and the dates. That's 2 now that I've found that you cannot read the headstones. I found another one. Let's see what this one reads. Emmeline, 1898. I'm looking for Joe Bloxam. This one is Zeke Phillips, June 6, 1914. That's another inmate from the original building. The longer I'm out here, the more strange it gets. 1893. All right, so I'm out here running a spirit box. Is there anyone from the old county poor farm still here in this graveyard? Still here in this graveyard. If there's anyone out here, can you just tell me who you are? Can you give me a name, please? Anyone from the poor farm? Anyone from the poor farm? Sound like Bob. Can you tell me where Joe Bloxam is buried? I just want to pay my respects. Should I go this way? Should I go this way? Which way should I go if I want to find Joe Bloxam's headstone? Is it behind me? Is there anyone still in this graveyard that wants to communicate, make your voice known? So my spirit box just died. The battery's been drained. I'm sure to turn it back on. It's dead. Not only did this die, but I started getting this heavy sickness feeling again. It's that same feeling like if you get rushed with energy, like a cloak is over you, just being suffocated. I'm gonna try the obelisk. Is there anything you want to tell me? You want to get a message through? You can use this device in my hand and speak directly to me. I'm sorry. I just get this feeling like there's somebody out here just watching me. I know it's broad daylight and they shouldn't have these creepy feelings, but I've been in more of these kind of graveyards than I can count, and I don't always get this feeling. I just get this feeling like there's somebody out here just watching me. I know it's broad daylight and they shouldn't have these creepy feelings, but I've been in more of these. I just get this feeling like there's somebody out here just watching me. Manor. Is that another way of saying that you lived at a care manor, a poor farm, care facility? I think I just heard a voice, like an audible, disembodied voice. Sounded like it was right next to me. Can you tell me where Joe Bloxam is buried? I've not been able to find his headstone. Can you help me? I just want to pay my respects. Can you tell me through this device in my hand where he's at, where I should go to find it? Rewind. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's another word that can be described for turn around, back up. I mean, there's this, if you can see it, this one right here, but I can't read it. There is a lot of strange, like, sinkholes out here. Down. It says down. I know that he lived over in Ashmore Estates, close by. I know. Preacher. It says human. Are you not a human anymore? Are you a spirit? Because I know the physical life was very hard for you. Very unfortunate. Very heavy feeling. Said Jesus. Are you trapped in this cemetery for some reason? Found. If I find Joe Bloxam's stone right here, this is going to be amazing. It says Paul. I think my biggest fear right now is walking into a big-ass garden spider. I can't find him. Sorry, Joe. I've been walking around for a while. This thing is dead silent. I want to thank you for speaking with me if you did. I'm sorry that you've essentially been forgotten in the woods of Coles County. I pray you're at rest. I pray you found peace. And by the authority of Jesus Christ, I do not allow anyone to follow me out of here. It says light. As soon as I mention Jesus, it says light. I'm at the newer Ashmore Cemetery. It's actually in the village of Ashmore. This is where Elva Skinner is buried, along with a lot of others from Ashmore Estates. Basically out here to look for Elva Skinner's grave. Pay my respects. Died 1880, aged 4 years. This young child was given no chance to live life, no chance to make it out of that poor farm, to become something, to just enjoy life. It's very sad. My respects to you, Elva. I'm sorry for what you went through. I pray you're at peace. I pray you're free from all of the physical burdens of life.
Setting up for the investigation, I showed Robbin a piece of equipment capable of picking up movements and temperature spots in a room. It sat undisturbed on the table for 15 minutes before the device began to detect something.
It started when you walked outside. I actually started talking about, hey, if you're here, walk up in this room. I moved out of the way so they could get by. Mm-hmm. And then it just seemed like it started picking up, and it's just gotten steadier and steadier. Look at the screen's almost filling up.
While I'm not saying this is evidence, the device calibrates to the surrounding environment, only allowing a flux when the baseline is disturbed. Make of this what you will. As Robbin left for the night, my investigation begins. Making my way upstairs, the feeling of being watched takes over. After being in enough locations over time, you develop a sense of your surroundings, and right now, I'm very much not alone.
This place is so incredibly heavy. It's always had a different atmosphere,
a different omen over the building. Very different from any other place that you go. And anybody that's been here knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's just a very different feeling. What makes Ashmore Estates so different from a lot of these other buildings that share the same kind of history? I definitely feel like whatever's in this building is eager to make their voices heard. Just heard a noise down here as I was talking to the camera. Not quite sure where that was just at. If you just made that noise, can you do it again? So that I know where you're at? Can you come over here and turn this device on that's sitting in front of me? Just let me know that you're here. I won't keep asking you to do this. I just want to make contact with you and to prove that you're here. I'm sure you have seen these devices before. All you have to do is come up close to it and put your hand over it. Can you make a noise if you can hear my voice? I know that this place was put out here for a reason. Away from society, away from the bigger towns, the bigger cities. They wanted to make sure this place was the less known, the better. That way the people that came out here would simply be forgotten. And it's very unfortunate, very sad, because you were still a human life. You still meant something. No matter what society tried to say, no matter what kind of box they try to fit you in, your life was still valuable. For those that were brought here and left, for no other reason than you just had nobody else or nowhere else to turn, I truly am sorry that that was your fate. That's the kind of life that you had to live. Nobody should be forgotten. Is there anybody in here with me? Can you hear my voice? Is there anyone in here with me right now?
So if there's anybody in here with me, you can hear my voice.
Could this be the remnant soul of the former inmate Joe Bloxam? What are the odds such a relevant name would be mentioned?
Like I said, rape. How many of you are on this floor? Can you just give me a number? How many of you are still up here? Is there a reason why you choose to stay on this floor or in this building? What's the reason? Are you tired of people coming in here and trying to talk to you? Do you prefer if people just stay out of the building? What is this representation around my neck right here? What does this mean? Can you see it? Can you tell me through this device? Can you give me the name of who this represents that I wear around my neck? I just heard Hannah.
While attempting to use a method of intelligent observation, simply testing the spirit to identify something present in the moment, a confirmation of their presence and ability to observe the living, I was struck with a Class A name response, along with heavy emotional energy. The significance of this name resonates within the building after a recent tragic event.
A woman is dead after state police say she drove into the back of a tractor. It happened this morning east of Neoga. They say 27-year-old Hannah Watson-Riano was driving east when she failed to slow down and hit that tractor.
Hannah was a close friend to Robbin and contributor to Ashmore Estates. She loved the building and spent a great deal of time here. While I can't discern the motive behind the response, I feel drawn to respectfully allow time to discern of her presence.
I didn't know this girl personally, if that's who they're speaking about. But if you are here, Hannah, then I just want to say I'm sorry for what happened to you, and at such a young age, it's such a tragedy. I'm sorry for what you went through, but if you're here, I'm sorry for what you went through, but if you're here and you want to communicate, or if you're just laying low and just kind of observing, that's fine too. I'm not here to try to draw you out or communicate with you, but if you want to be known, if you want to say something, I just want you to know you're talking to somebody with a big heart and compassion, authenticity. I'm not here to try to exploit you or anything. I know you have family and friends and just loved ones that would probably want to hear from you again, so feel free to come through and speak. I'll be here for a while, so. Hannah, if that's you, can you come back through and just let me know? Can you just say your name or something so I know that it's you?
Sure. Sure.
Sounded like a giggle or like a laugh. I just have the extreme chills, and it's just very heavy. I almost have like a nauseous feeling. That's how heavy the energy is in here right now, and it takes a lot for me to get that way. Keep walking upstairs. I think I just heard a voice. A voice not associated with the spirit box. This is Hannah's room. I did hear her name on the second floor. It was a male voice that said it, but sometimes that doesn't matter. If you're here and you want to make yourself known and you want to send a message to friends or family, I will make sure that they get it. So I'm going to turn the spirit box back on, and I know that you know what these are, so feel free to come through and speak to me, or you can tell me to leave if you don't want me in here, and I will respect that as well. Hannah, are you here? I am getting a very strong breeze, cold spot on my hand right now, as I've been sitting here holding this outward. I'm extremely sorry for what you went through. I didn't know you, but no one should have to lose their life that early. I know you love this place, but I pray that you have found peace and that you are where, it makes you happy. Condolences to your family, your friends. I'm just very sorry.
Whatever one may believe about this string of events, this segment is dedicated to you, for your loved ones, for your memory.
Prefer that I have some sort of light next to me or on my camera as opposed to being completely dark. Can you bang on something? Can you move an object? I think I heard something inside of this room here. I actually have to walk around to get into this little room, but I swear I heard something in there. Are you in that room in there? Is someone in there? Can you make another noise? Just heard a loud bang down here. Was that you that just made that noise? Can you do it again?
Alright, so it's kind of quiet at the moment. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the Ovilus. Seems a lot of the communication tonight's been very audible. So this device I'm holding in my hand says female. Is there a female here with me right now? You trying to let me know that you're a woman? If this is you coming through, can you give me another sign? Can you say something else through this device? Can you give me a name? I just heard a female voice. Can you give me a name? I just heard a female voice. I just heard a female voice. I pray that this microphone picked that up. That was loud. It sounded like it was right next to me in this room. Now I'm hearing footsteps. There's footsteps in this room right now. Who's in here? I had female come through on this device. Okay. Son. Female son. Okay, so I had female come through on the device. I heard with my own ears a disembodied female voice, and then I heard footsteps, what sounded like walking away from me. Are you still in this room? Can you make another noise and let me know that you can hear me? Says mommy. I just heard the female voice again. Says mommy. I just heard the female voice again. Who are you? What is your name? So I was sitting right here in this chair, and I had the Ovilus say female, and when I asked for another sign, I heard with my own ears a female voice, what sounded like it was coming from inside this room right here. And then I heard footsteps. As you can see, you can walk in this room here, and I heard footsteps walking down into this area right here. And then I get to about right here, as you heard on the video, and I heard another voice, another female voice, sounded like it was in this area. You can come through this device in my hand here and let me hear your voice louder, more clear. Tell me what you need, what you want. What was your name? Getting just extreme cold spot chills right now. Are you close to me right now? Are you in this room right now? If you are, can you speak to this device so I can hear you better? What's your name?
said it was a storm that took the roof off. A tornado. Were you here when that happened? Did you see it? Is anybody down here in this boiler room? I mean, no disrespect to whoever may still be down here. I'm not here to invade your space. I'm not here to try to force you out of this place. This is your home. This is where you want to be. I have no problem with that. I'm just here to document your presence. If you wish to communicate, I'm listening. I have a device in my hand that will allow me to hear your voice. Can you use this device and come through and speak to me? Who's down here right now? Joe Bloxam, are you still here? I know that you were very close with this building. I know that you passed away in this building. I know that you did maintenance and upkeep. Can you come through this device here and speak to me? Let me know that you're okay, that you're still here. Are you still here, Joe? Do you have a message for anyone that comes down here? Definitely get like a really heavy feeling down here. Keep seeing the face detection going off in this room. Is there somebody in that room right there? It is old, it's creepy, it's more spiritual than the way it looks. Like a vortex, an energy vortex. It just feels like there's something down there that just doesn't want you down there. Doesn't want to be bothered. It doesn't want anything to do with the public coming in here. But that's just my feelings on it. But definitely not wanted down there. Is there anybody up here that can hear my voice? I was up here a little while ago. As I said before, the Ovilus can be used as a trigger device as well. Not necessarily what it says, but the fact that it's going off so frequently. Harvest? Did you used to work on the poor farm? Did you work out here in these fields? Female again. It's very rare to get the same word twice in one night. But here we are. What do you mean female? Is there a female by me right now? Can you say something else? Girl. Okay. So you're telling me that you might be a little girl? Can you give me a name through this device? Who's next to me right now? Strange responses. Veronica. I did ask who was next to me. I did ask who was by me. And this name came through the device here. Could be a coincidence, but it's also a strange coincidence, I guess, that female and girl come through back to back like that. Video. If you're talking about the video in my hand, I'm using it to document the building, document the story, the history, and those that are still remaining here. 15? Right as soon as I said, those that still remain here, it says 15. Are you saying that there's 15 of you around me right now? Or 15 in the building? Think. I'm not saying this is proof, but what else do you want me to know about that? Is there 15 in the building or 15 up here? You'll see how it goes for little spurts of time where it will not go off at all, and then all of a sudden 3, 4, 5 in the row. And that little session back there, coincidence or not, was intriguing. Come through and speak to me. If you can hear my voice. I just heard that. It said something's here. Who used to stay in this room right here? Sounds like I did. So I'm gonna sit on this bed, do a spirit box session. Keep hearing all kinds of stuff come through. This is the original bed, one of the only original beds to the building still left here. Just a rusty metal frame, but we're gonna lay on it. Are you stuck in this building? Stuck in this room? Just said grab. Here? Who's here right now? give me a name. Let me know. It felt like somebody just grabbed my arm. Did somebody just grab my arm? Did somebody just grab my arm? It sounded like, or felt like somebody just touched my arm. Just barely touched it. Barely touched it. Did someone just touch my arm? I did? Did you hear that? It said I did. I don't mean to be startled. I'm not afraid. It was just unexpected. I'm hearing all kinds of stuff come through here. It's the same voice. Why did you touch my arm? That was a little intense. Laying on this bed right here. And something on this side by that chair just gently just felt like a little squeeze on my arm. That's why you don't freak out and run away, because you ask them to do things, you ask them to communicate, and it defeats the whole point when you freak out and run away. It's like a static charge squeeze on my arm. It was very strange. And then I heard the same female voice come through after she said I did. Absolutely insane.
What makes a building haunted? Assuming these are human souls, what keeps them around? Perhaps this is their home, even in death. The only sense of normalcy and acceptance they've ever known. If you find yourself within the dark walls of the old county poor farm turned psychiatric facility, you may find yourself face to face with one of the many wandering souls reaching out for one last chance to be heard.